Thank you, though. Alright, so we got some human decency here. There's some folks here, they know Dean. A gentleman who used to work at one of the local businesses. They were real good to me. I was actually gonna get him dinner one night because he was good to me. He just came over. He talked to me a little bit about Dean, and he hooked me up with more money than I've seen in most of the month. I mean, I'm so grateful right now for it. And, you know, one of the things with living the way that I do and having to live off of disability money and not having family support, you know, when people are good to me, I do recognize it. Also, he gave me permission. He said, go get myself a full tank of gas. My tank is pretty full. He said to get myself something to eat. I asked him if it was all right if I took Logan and Shane out for something to eat. He said that'd be all right. So I'm pretty glad for that. There's a lot of homeless people that work the jobs at the gas stations and stuff, and they can't afford to live in this community off of what they earn there. So a lot of the gas stations, like I said, they got a fast roll through. But, you know, I may not know everybody's names, but I recognize the faces of those who are good to me. A lot more so than the faces of those who are mean or cruel or any of that. You know, you sometimes get somebody who's so mean that their face sticks out in your head and you have nightmares about them. But that's not the situation I'm in now. They also tried to, when I say they, it wasn't just that feller Danny, it was a couple other people too. They also tried to give me some Reese's peanut butter cups. I used to love Reese's peanut butter cups. Wrong kind of chocolate though. Because trying to commit suicide with chocolate pudding and a whole bunch of caffeine pills and a bunch of caffeine pills and a bunch of sleeping pills. Everything chocolate pretty much tastes nasty and pushes on my gag reflex. Cadbury's chocolate doesn't, but it doesn't taste like chocolate to me. It tastes like raisins. So, I don't know. Good chocolate always tasted like raisins to me anyway, but Cadbury's is about the only chocolate I can eat. Everything else wants to come right back up. I did try a couple of those Ludens or Lindens or whatever they're called. They don't do it for me. Now the whole thing with the people being good to me is that it's the poor people, you know. Like you guys probably got to see my videos about brown people, about how grateful I am for brown people. And I don't mean that as a religious thing. Where the hell did I put my goddamn lighter? What I mean about that is that in many of these societies, they're family-oriented societies. For us, a lot of the time it's the you're on your own mentality. You have to do it yourself mentality. It's a lack of humanity, and we get it out of our own families. A lot of people want to talk about how advantaged we are because of the color of our skin, and that can be true in some places. I'm not going to pretend that it can't be true because I've seen it. But I also see that it's not cultural racism at a Hispanic folks that is the reason that they're doing so well. The reason that I see Hispanic folks doing so well despite the issues that many of them may have is because they work together as a family. They pool their resources as a family. Now, in the places that I grew up, obviously I grew up with minorities. Most of my friends growing up were brown. And we don't make a distinction here, do we? When we see a brown person, we want to just call them Mexicans. And not so much here in Oregon. Here in Oregon, you know, when you see somebody who's brown, they're a person. Same as, well, like when I lived in Colorado, a brown person was still a person, a black person is still a person. But in Nebraska, oh my God, bad habit. In Nebraska, there are no brown people in western Nebraska. There's no black people either. That's because Nebraskans hated everybody. It's a true story. They blame everything on blacks and Mexicans, and there's no blacks or Mexicans there. And they go down to the bar and they spend $50 a night on booze. And then at the end of the month, they've spent $1,500 on booze. And they're complaining that blacks and Mexicans are the reason that they're broke. I'm like, you spent $1,500 on booze. That's more than I pay for rent. Anyway, this video is about good people. And of course, decent people, and then of course we've got the assholes. Now, is this video going to be about the assholes? No, it's not. Just like the last one, it's about good people. Now, for somebody to remember me and remember that I was good to them and kick me down something like that, it's not the money, it's the thought. For a lot of people, they want to say it's the thought that counts, and yeah, sure, sorta. But when, all right, let's say your little brother is getting his face pounded in, and you thought about jumping in and protecting him, but he's still got his face smashed in because you just thought about it. Sure, you thought about defending your little brother, but in the end, you just watched him get his ass whooped. Now your brother's permanently disfigured because, well, you just thought about it. That guy over there and the people that he's with, they didn't just think about being good to people. They didn't just think about being nice. They didn't just think about possibly talking to me like I'm a human being and getting to learn a little bit about me. They actually took the time to do so. And of course, I made sure to complain about brown people, as a Nebraskan should. I complained that the brown people are the ones who have been incredibly good to me the most here. I complained that if it weren't for brown people in this town, my vehicle would not be working or functioning. Without brown people in this town, my vehicle would have been towed on more than one occasion. And of course, we've also got the tan people. These are the ones that you guys want to call white. Well, they live outside. They're in the sun. They're brown. Ooh, I found 10 cents. Woohoo! Oh my God, but standing up after that sucks. I do indeed have the luxury of pretending that none of these people exist. Pretending that that man back there didn't just help me out. Pretending that he didn't hand me a crisp new $50 bill. And of course, it's at a good time where I can sure fucking use it. So I'm glad for him. I'm glad that he exists. Now, even if he'd have just come up to me and talked to me like I'm a human being, that would have been enough. And after having that man who had threatened to stab me to death come up and apologize for threatening to stab me to death, like, you know, I think people are starting to catch on to who I am in person. Who I am on the internet is a heartless sumbitch, ain't he? Well, that's who I gotta be to get heard. That's who I have to be in order to save lives. Maybe y'all will look at all those videos where I'm supposedly crazy, where they took one little bit or piece out of the video to try to paint me as a nut job. Did any of you guys bother to stop and listen to the videos yourselves? Oh, there's two cars here, both called Colorado. I'm between them because I just found another dime and a penny, which ain't bad. That's 11 cents. Huh. I wonder what they're for. They're right outside of AutoZone, so it might be the emergency response and all that. Mr. Danny just left. His truck is pretty fucking big. Holy shit. That's a huge truck. But like I said, you know, there are albinubians here who are pretty nice, or what do they call it, melanin challenged, that are pretty nice. But as far as being good people, most of these folks fall short by a lot. Their niceness is a matter of social etiquette and social construct. It's not a matter of right or wrong. They don't stop to think the right or wrong with the actions that they're committing to. Don't make any sense. Like people who want to tell me about common sense. Well, common sense would dictate that you should probably find out what the situation is before giving advice. How can you have a solution for a problem you know nothing about? If you don't want to know anything about the problem, and you want to victimize the victim for trying to get help, well, you got a lot worse issues than the victim. A lot of people had the chance and the opportunity to come forward with what they know. Hello. Unfortunately, they got Natalie Bollinger shot in the head by ignoring me. And I do blame everyone for that. I blame everybody who blew me off. Everybody who chose to assault me or berate me or belittle me for trying to get help. Many of my so-called friends, they treated me like shit for almost an entire year, over a year in some cases, before Natalie was killed. That was the case with Kayla Peaches Trujillo. When she was finally going to help me, what happened? I was in her kitchen when I got the phone call from Broomfield Police Department, Broomfield Sheriff's Department, saying that Natalie Bollinger was missing. I was in her kitchen. I even got it verified from her in her own voice on my YouTube channel. I also got it from her in her voice about the situation with Todd Ryan case. Well, they want to believe that ignoring the situation or playing victim is going to do them some good. It does for the short term. But somebody's going to see that screaming and hear that screaming and go, there's more to this story. I'm going to find out what it is. Maybe that person will be you. Maybe it won't. Chances are pretty good nobody's going to give a shit till I'm dead. And even then, there's about a smokestack chance in hell. It took Natalie paying Joseph Michael Lopez to blow her fucking head off for her to get hurt. And she's a tiny, pretty white girl who had a roof over her head, so she matters and I don't. When you tell me your kids have been threatened, I'm going to take it seriously and I'm going to try to turn it in. If the only way for me to expose the situation is to do so on the internet, that's what I'll do. It's not difficult to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. I'm going to go get myself something to eat. I'm going to take Logan and Shane out to eat, possibly too. We'll see what they're up to. I'll tell them about their friend and how he apologized. That way they're aware. Until next time, right? It's good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.